Yo everybody, what's going on? Genesis here, coming at you with another Cardfight Vangaurd deck profile. So today I figured it was about time. We just got finished streaming. We went on a crazy streak there with our golds. So I figured it was probably about time to do a deck profile. I think the deck's pretty steady where it is. I don't think there's going to be too many more tweaks, so I figured it's about time to share with you guys in case you were deciding on whether or not to pick up Blue Flames or not. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, guys, let's get straight into it here. So we're gonna start off with the threes. We're gonna start with the old cards first, and then we'll get into the new stuff. So first off, main key card of the deck. Was really surprised by how important this card really became. But we are running 4 copies of Garmor. This is by far one of your most important grade 3s right now. With the Season of Blasters, this card just shuts them down. Your opponent can't retire your stuff as long as you've got Garmor on the go and you just keep looping them back and back. But yeah, let's get over his effects. Limit Break 4, Counterblast 2, call the top card of your deck to an open rearguard. You get to repeat until you have no more. So this is really good for if, say, you didn't have Garmor, maybe your opponent just did a big bang play. They played some Blaster Darks, retired your boosters or whatever. This will let you fill your field back out. The only downside is kind of random. You're just going to keep drawing from the top, so you don't really have a whole lot of control. That's what you're going to get. But as long as you got an open circle, you get the option to look and then kind of select where to go. Second effect is when he is placed, your Liberators cannot be retired or lose their intercept effect. This is really why you're playing this card, is this effect here. You play them, you can set up your field and know that you'll be safe the next turn. You won't, and nothing will be retired. Right now, a lot of people are running Blasters, obviously, Season Blasters, right? So they are targeting a lot of the back row too, not just your intercepts. But this card can also come in clutch as well if it's late game as well. Say you're sending at 4 damage, you only got 1 PG in your hand. You play Garmor down, both your intercepts will be safe. You can take a hit. If it's a restanding Vanguard, which there's a lot of right now, then you know you're going to live and just be okay, unless they say your opponent's running some stand triggers, because you'll have that 1 PG. If not, you probably would have died that turn, right? Garmor, amazing card. Definitely going to be staying in the deck for a while. Next up, we're going over our heal trigger, Ganslot Zenith. If you guys have been playing, you guys should know Zenith. Limit Break 4, when the unit attacks, you can counterblast 1 to put a rearguard to the bottom of the deck, call the top card. The unit gets 10k. This is pretty much what your finisher is going to be. This is why Zenith's in the deck. That and his crazy other effects here. When he is placed on the rearguard from your deck, so say you snag him off of your Aglavale, your Percivals, your Trumpeters, or even your Zoras, you can play him, and then he tags out for a Blaster Blade, either from your drop zone or your deck, with priority generally to the deck. But of course, if there is none, you don't have to worry about it. So essentially, you'll always get him. So he's just another option to get Blast Blade. Really, this way for is just recycling, and then he'll be your finisher at the end. If you need that extra attack, generally, you'll want to save 1 counterblast, which is where also Blaster Blade can get the flip, get that one back, right? Next, we're gonna go over my tech choice for the deck, actually. So normally you would see Core taking this place with a 1-off Core, but no, not today, boys. I'll bring something special for you. We are running Alfredo Sauce, the big fridge himself, Liberator Monarch Sanctuary Alfred. This is just put in for those Link Joker matchups. That's really it. I've been running into a lot of Glendios on ladder lately. Not really sure what's up with that, but yeah, maybe they know that they're kind of safe now, because they're not running so many Ezels and stuff anymore. But yeah, so with them coming up, I've teched in my Alfred. Rather than running the Core, I was running Prominence Core before, but I was running 2 of it. But right now, where there's so many, I decided to take it out and try to give myself an advantage against those Link Choker decks. The leaders will be coming up shortly as well, so we'll definitely be seeing some more of Alfred, since we're going to be dealing with more locked as well. But let's go over his effects real quick here. He has a ultimate break, with it being at 5. When your Blaster Blade is placed from your deck, this unit gets 10k and a critical. He doesn't care how, so you can snag this off your Aglavale. If say you get Aglavale into, let's say, Zenith, that'll still proc it off. And it's not a once per turn either. So if you have a couple left and you can manage to do this, you can pump this boy out and you can get a big finish off if need be. But it's not really what we're playing on, right? Well, that's just a spice on top, right? So Core gave us some crits, and Alfred gives us a chance for some crits as well, right? But the more practical skill, and the real reason we're running him, is his Limit Break 4 effect here. So Soul Blast 2, Counter Blast 3. So a little heavy. So you do have to be careful with that. To put all of your rear guards and locked cards, key point there, on the top of your deck. Look at 5 cards on the top of your deck and call 5 Liberators. So essentially, you just get to reset your field. That's really what it is. So if you were to do something like Garmor, set up your field, get it protected, then they decide to lock everything instead, you can just essentially play Alfred, send it all back, put it all back, right? Generally, you're not really going to be using this too much. I kind of just cycle him out. He's kind of whatever in most matchups, unless I do get the Glendios, and then in which case this is kind of something I'm looking for, and then I'll actually try to see if I can save those counterblasts, possibly, and then get them when they have none, really, because then you'll be able to sustain and they won't be able to relock their stuff, because if you unlock, you want to make sure they don't get your stuff locked again, right? Because you definitely won't be able to do it again in this deck. And then finally, our last grade 3, one of the new additions from the next set, from this set here, is our Percival, Bluish Flame Liberator Percival. Legions with Egglevale, the other new card in the deck. We'll get to him later. When you Legion, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, call Liberator. It's amazing. I love this card. I really, really do. He is by far probably my favorite 3 in the deck right now. His other effect is when he gets to attack the Vanguard, he gets +2. So if you are in Legion, he will go to 22. If he's by himself, he'll go 13. So you can pretty much hit anything you want. This card is fantastic. He has great late game. He has good early game. This lets you put back some Zeniths if you get them early or whatnot. But yeah, I really have no troubles. Like I said, early game, late game, this card just works anyway. If you want to start off with a nice Legion, kind of use him to set up the field, you can do that early on. So you got like 1 counterblast, you can just go into your Percival and then go into an Aglavale. That's 2 cards right there. You get the set. Assuming you don't hit any Trumpeters or anything, you might just set up a whole field of a free counterblast, right? Amazing card, love it. Next, we'll go over the 2s. First, we'll cover Homeboy, our main boyo of the deck, Blaster Blade Liberator. Again, this card has been around since they came out. When placed in your Vanguard is Liberator Stutter in there. Kind of blast 2 to retire one of your opponent's rearguards. Just cut and copy paste the Blaster Blade, really. He's going to be used for your main retire. This card gets recycled by a lot in this deck, and that's pretty much what you want to be doing. He also gets a lot of unflips and sets up with his partner here, Ballin. But yeah, it's just Blaster Blade, really. What can you say? Staple of the deck. He's not going to be going anywhere for a while. Next, one of our other combo cards, Liberator Star Rain Trumpeter. So when this unit is on rearguard, you can send back a Blaster Blade either from the drop zone or the soul. A lot of times you'll ride your Blaster Blade on your turn 2. Use your Barker Gold to get another Blaster Blade back, and then you can play your Trumpeter on your turn 3 and recycle that Blaster Blade back, right? So you don't have to worry too much about your turn 2 ride. But when you do cycle that Blaster Blade, you get to put him back to the deck, shuffle up, and then call the top card of your deck to an empty rearguard. Try to remember, though, it does require an empty rearguard spot. That is the main thing with a lot of the cards right now, is they have to go to an empty. So if you do have a full field and you do get a Trumpeter, you can't set up like a 4th or 5th attack. Not with her anyway. But the main thing is that it is for free. The only downside is it is going to come from the top, so you don't really have any control of what it's going to be. You're kind of just up to chance there. Next, we're running my tech choice right now. Lawful Trumpeter. Normally you would run the 12k Liberator card. I actually don't have any. I can make one, but I'm not going to bother right now. I'm just going to wait until we get our core upgrade. That'll be Bluish Flame Liberator Prominence Glare. When he comes out, we'll get some new cards, and then I'll worry about maybe if I want to make one. But yeah, we're just running Lawful Trumpeter just as a fill-in spot. Plus, he also works with the deck as well. So when you Legion, you get to counterblast 1. Look at 4 cards from the top of your deck. Call Liberator. So he works exactly like Percival or so. This is primarily how you're going to use him, or at least how I use him. If I have Percival down, I know I'm going to go for Legion. You can play Trumpeter down, get that Legion, use Percival first, and kind of see what you want to get, what kind of pieces you can get, and then you can counterblast if you want, and then get another card using Trumpeter. I really don't use this card a whole lot. If you do have 12Ks, I would tuck them in instead. He can definitely be switched out, so don't worry if you don't have him too much. Just you can really use whatever you've got. Next, our last grade 2 and a very important card in the deck is our Oath Liberator Aglavales. This just came out with our boy Percival. This is his Legion mate, so you got to be careful there. You will go through them pretty quick if you're not careful. So when this unit is placed on rear, if your Vanguard is the Liberator +1, look at the top 3 cards from your deck and then call Liberator to empty rearguard. So do remember, again, empty rearguard. This card's amazing. Absolutely love it. He looks at top 3, and our boy Percival looks at top 4. So you will have to remember that he doesn't get as deep as Percival does, but still, this can be used early game. Say on your turn 2, you can get a nice rush off by using him instead of searching for your Blaster Blade. If, say, you have the right matchup, you know your Barkle is not going to get retired or anything like that. You can get a good push off with this, and you can get some nice early damage, and then you can just follow up by using your grade 3s, because if your 2s do die, it's not so big of a deal early on, because you can just recycle them with Percival, so you can kind of play more aggressive now. Love this card. It's going to be sticking in the deck for quite a while. Next is our grade 1s. Obviously, we're running 4 Halo Liberator marks. We want to run this because we don't necessarily want to be pushed. Yeah, we have a lot of Limit Break cards, but we don't necessarily want to be there. We kind of want to control that. The only time we really need to be in Limit Break is either if we do want to go into Garmor, or if we're trying to finish things off with Zenith, but by the time you're running Zenith, you're probably going to be sitting at 5 damage, so you'll be fine. This is definitely the PG you would prefer to run. If you run the other ones, you run the chance of getting pushed too quickly. Rather than using the newer PGs right now. So we want to be careful. We don't want to sit at that limit break. Next, we're running 4 copies of Josephus. This is the draw engine for the deck. So when this unit is placed from your deck, if your Vanguard is Liberator, you can Soul Blast to draw cards. So this is how we're going to be getting our Aglavales back and our Blaster Blades if, say, we don't have a Trumpeter to get it out and we kind of want to recycle something. 4 copies is pretty self-explanatory there. This is primarily going to be what you want to ride for your turn 1 if you can really help it, as you would rather save your other grade 1s for later on. Next is our White Rainbow Liberator Ballin. This is the combo card that goes with our Blaster Blade. So when you place him down, and Blaster Blade, so when this unit is down and then you place Blaster Blade, you get to countercharge 1. So essentially this will allow you to counterblast 1 for your Blaster Blades. You'll still need 2 on the field, but this is going to allow you to help get that unflip and then help mitigate some of the counterblast, because if you're not careful, you can burn up quite a few in this deck, even though it's a lot of counterblast 1, counterblast 2 for the deck. You can get a little heavy and you can burn through quickly if you're not careful. And then once you run out, you'll have a very difficult time trying to get the field, and that's when you can actually kind of cost yourself the game there. So Ballin helps counterbalance that a little bit. And then finally, our last grade 1 is Zoron. I honestly wasn't too sure about this card when I was first putting the deck together. I was thinking I might take him out, but ultimately he's great. You don't see a whole lot of Zoron. He can be your alternate grade 1 ride if you do get him in the hand, because you can get him back out with Josephus. But really, this card is great if you can keep recycling him with your Percivals. So when this card is placed from the deck, you can put him into the soul and then look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. So essentially, he's a redo. If you were to use something like Percival, and you didn't like the 3 cards, but Zoron's there, you can just pick Zoron. He goes back to the deck. It lets you try again. It's fantastic. I'd have to say he's definitely a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. And then finally, our starter is going to be Wingull Liberator. Really, the only starter you need to be running for your golds right now. So when this unit boosts and then the unit attack hits a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, and you get to put this unit into soul and add Blaster Blade. Pretty simple. This is going to be essentially what you're going to do on your turn 2. Unless you've got maybe a couple extra Blaster Blades in your hand and you don't necessarily need to use your Wingull, in which case then you could probably get away with doing something like your Aglavale and then getting a field setup, go for that rush. But ultimately this is going to be the best starter that you can run right now. And then we're going to obviously run in the extra draws rather than criticals in this deck, so that we can try to maintain the hand. I did notice the hand can stay kind of full if you do well between nailing your Josephus and your Wingles and that. There were a couple times I did burn a few cards, so we might have to keep that in mind when you're playing there. But other than that, I gotta say, this is probably my favorite deck. If you guys have been tuning into the streams, you'll see that this is pretty much what I've been playing since we switched over from our Shadows. So definitely check it out. Once we get the next Bluish Flame upgrade in the last set for Legion, which will be our Prominence Core Glare, the deck, I feel, is going to be even better. But it's definitely a lot of fun. If you guys are sure, definitely check it out. But that's going to be it for me, guys, for right now. If you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment, and sub for more. Let me know down below what you guys are running for the season right now. And let me know what you guys think of the Liberators, and when they come out with Glare, what your thoughts are on that. But for now, I'm going to let the showcase play out, and I'll catch you all in the next one.